In the ancient land of Canaan, nestled among the tents of their father Isaac, lived twin brothers, Jacob and Esau. Esau, the elder, was a man of the wild, while Jacob, the younger, preferred the quiet of the home. Their differences would soon lead to a fateful choice, and a stew of regret would be cooked for all of them. Esau was the firstborn, heir to the birthright, a blessing of inheritance and leadership. He reveled in the hunt, in the freedom of the open lands. But one sweltering day his strength waned, and hunger gnawed at him with fierce intensity, pulling him back to the tent. The savory aroma of Jacob's stew wafted through the air, a tantalizing promise of nourishment and relief. Esau's senses sharpened with ravenous need. Each inhale made him more and more desperate. "Now give me some of that red stew, I beg you," Esau pleaded, his voice hoarse with exhaustion and overwhelming hunger. "I am starving." It was more of a demand than a request, a guttural cry from a desperate man. Jacob, ever watchful and calculating, saw an opportunity. He recognized the depth of Esau's hunger, a hunger that eclipsed all other concerns, all other priorities. A plan began to form in his mind. "I will give you stew," Jacob replied, his voice measured and deliberate. "But only if you sell me your birthright." The words hung in the air, a cold proposition masked by a veneer of familial exchange. Esau paused, but only for a moment. The birthright, with its promise of future inheritance, seemed distant and abstract compared to the immediate, overwhelming need to satiate his hunger. The stew was real. The birthright was not. "What good is a birthright to me if I die of starvation?" Esau retorted, his voice laced with impatience and a hint of self-justification. The hunger was his enemy, not Jacob, not the future. Without another thought, without any real consideration of the long-term consequences, Esau agreed. He bartered away his birthright for a single bowl of fragrant, steaming stew. He sold his future for immediate gratification. Esau devoured the stew with ravenous abandon, each spoonful a temporary reprieve from his hunger. The birthright now lost was a distant abstraction, a forgotten worry buried beneath the immediate satisfaction. Jacob watched him, his expression unreadable. Was it triumph, or perhaps a flicker of guilt? The bargain was struck, the birthright secured. The future had been altered with a single bowl of stew. But the consequences of that impulsive decision were far-reaching, casting a long shadow over their family. The deceit would ripple through generations, bringing sorrow and division in its wake. Years later, when their father Isaac was old and blind, Jacob, guided by his mother's cunning, tricked him into bestowing the birthright blessing upon himself. The deception was complete. Esau, upon discovering the treachery, was consumed by grief and rage. The birthright, stolen through deceit, was a wound that would never fully heal. His anger was palpable. The bonds between the brothers, once intertwined by blood, were now strained by betrayal. The stew of regret had poisoned their relationship, leaving a legacy of bitterness and resentment. The lesson learned from this tale is a timeless one. the importance of valuing integrity and long-term well-being over immediate gratification. Esau gave more importance to the stew than to his future. Although, in a moment of weakness, Esau prioritized the fleeting pleasure of a meal over the lasting significance of his birthright. This is a mistake that anyone could make. The birthright symbolized not just inheritance, but also responsibility, leadership, and a connection to his lineage. By discarding it, Esau forfeited a part of himself. Jacob's actions, though driven by ambition and a desire for the birthright, were rooted in deceit. Ambition led him down a dark path, the means by which he obtained the blessing. Trickery and manipulation undermined the value of the prize. It was not the birthright itself that mattered, but how it was acquired. Honesty, patience, and respect for others are the cornerstones of healthy relationships, especially within families. These are always worth holding on to. Love and peace within a family are far more precious than any material gain or fleeting advantage. No amount of stew, no amount of land or gold is worth damaging this love. The story of Jacob and Esau serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us to value what truly matters in life. We should think ahead and consider the big picture. Kindness, compassion, and integrity are far more valuable than any quick gain or short-sighted victory. Only these things can heal. Think before you act. This is a lesson that will always serve us well. In the end, the stew of regret serves as a reminder that true wealth lies not in possessions, but in the bonds of love and family. It teaches us to cherish the relationships we have and to act with kindness and integrity, for these are the true treasures of life. Sometimes, the things we value most are not what we think they are. Think carefully about what is worth fighting for. And remember, a bowl of stew is never worth more than a brother's love. In the tents of their father Isaac in the land of Canaan, two twin brothers lived, Jacob and Esau. Esau held the birthright, a special honor that meant he would receive a double share of the family's inheritance. One hot day, Esau returned from hunting, weary and very hungry.